Welcome to
Rough Draft Podcast.
Rough Draft Podcast.
Rough Draft Podcast.
The Rough Draft Podcast.
the Rough Draft Podcast.
Rough Draft Podcast.
Welcome to the Rough Draft Podcast.
The Rough Draft Podcast.
Welcome to the Rough Draft Podcast.
Ready to turn the rough drafts of today into the masterpieces of tomorrow? Let's get started.
Welcome to today's episode of the Rough Draft Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, and today we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important for our schools, teacher retention and wellness. In today's conversation, we'll be speaking with two key leaders in our district, Dr. Paula Kinslow, our district's curriculum director, and Bethany Powell, a member of our school board. So welcome, you two. We're glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
We're excited. So first, we're just going to start with teacher retention. So Paula, what do you see as the biggest challenges in retaining teachers in our district?
The biggest challenge is being competitive with neighboring districts. And so we're working to increase our pay scale, looking at how we do our stipends, and just looking at the total compensation package for all employees, because being so close to multiple districts, it's important that we know what is competitive, and
Right.
we want them to choose Clyde because it is the best district in the area.
Yeah, that's tough. So how does our district access the section and needs of teachers to help retain them?
We do surveys. Each principal will do a survey every spring just to kind of see, what are their plans? Are they planning on staying? Are they looking to leave? Are they looking to improve themselves and go back to school? And so we try and help those. We even have a aid to teacher program, Grow Your Own, where we invest in our paraprofessionals so they can become teachers in our classrooms. And we've had several teachers that have done that. We're so proud of them, and they have done a wonderful job.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are there any other things like that, specific programs or initiatives that we have put in place to support teachers once they're in the classroom and help retain them in the long run?
We have an induction process for all new employees in the district, as well as new teachers specifically to the profession. We're working to create that and become a more robust program. We assign them a mentor teacher. And so we're really looking and exploring that program and trying to beef that up, because we anticipate more and more of our teachers retiring. And so as they retire, we're going to have new teachers to the district, and they may be green or fresh teachers that need more support than our seasoned teachers.
Yeah, that's definitely important. So Bethany, how can the board help create a positive environment that's going to foster that retention?
Well, something we started this year that has been very eye-opening is we have the teachers of the month and the staff members of the month, and the principals come and present those to us at the board meetings. And that's just been very eye-opening to see them up there getting those awards and to hear their principals talk about what they're doing, not just in the classrooms, but just around the school, and how they're investing not only in the children, but in the other staff members and building up each other.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd love to have some of those employees come on and kind of talk about that as well. So let's talk about support specifically. What does the district do to ensure that teachers are feeling supported professionally and personally?
So I think that's an interesting concept, and each principal has to work very diligently toward doing that. We have a PLC program, which is a professional learning community. Each campus does meet with those teachers periodically to plan, to work on curriculum, to provide support. We are a part of something called a TIL, Texas Instructional Leadership Program, and that is a program that works with administrators so that we can become better coaches, so that we can coach our teachers better and provide that support.
So other than that, what professional development opportunities are available to teachers?
we encourage our teachers to attend sessions at the Region Center. Typically, we'll pay the minimal $10 fee during the summer so that they can get their professional development. The principals will visit with them and encourage them to attend certain trainings. We do trainings in-house. I think, Stacey, you have some beach technology training this summer scheduled, so that'll be exciting for them. Just really encouraging them to continue to be learners. If we're not lead learners, then how do we expect our students to continue to learn?
Right, and I think that's super important because education is constantly evolving, right? So there's always new things for us to adapt and learn different methods. How do you guys see collaboration between the district and the community helping with supporting staff?
Our community definitely supports our teachers, and it always has. Whether it's a new teacher orientation, we have different people like First Financial Bank, and different businesses in the community donating gifts or tokens or gift cards, gift certificates, and our wellness program that we just started. It was an idea from the board, really trying to just love on our teachers, love on our new employees, and making sure they feel special and welcome to Clyde.
Yeah.
One thing we've talked about is making sure that we get our story out there to the community and share all the positive things, which I think you're doing a great job on the Facebook side on that.
Thank you.
But sharing all the things that the community doesn't know that happens on a daily basis because they're not in the classrooms. And we've talked about that as a board of get that story out there and get the positives out there because it's easy for the rumors to get started, and especially on social media. So trying to build that up. And then another thing that I thought of regarding this is our PTOs on all our campuses. They've been supportive, and we have lunches for the teachers at the end of the 6 weeks, and they really enjoy that. And it gets the parents involved in showing their appreciation.
Yeah, for sure. I love seeing the pictures of that, whatever the theme was. I know the teachers really appreciate that, so that's awesome.
And, I think our students even appreciate our teachers. I know our community problem solving has made it their mission this year, their project that they submit to the state to support teachers and educators in the district. And so, that speaks volumes when they realize the importance of the people in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more specifically the Staff Wellness Day. Can you guys tell us kind of where did you see the importance in the district having a wellness program like the Wellness Committee or Staff Wellness Day and how that might contribute to teacher retention?
Do you want to talk about the committee, the wellness, and I'll talk about Wellness Day?
We've had a wellness committee forever. It started out as a committee based upon our nursing staff, and it's morphed and changed over the years. Holly Robledo, one of our employees at the junior high, spearheads the wellness committee now, and they have representatives from every campus, and they encourage us to work out and drink water and all those things, self-care. And so I really appreciate them. And then it culminates at the end of the year with wellness breakfast on our last contract day. And that's always really nice. And there's door prizes at the end. And so if you participated in any of their wellness events, your name is actually put in the hopper to win. And there's lots of excitement when those door prizes hit.
Oh, I bet. Very nice.
So Wellness Day came from an idea. As school board members, we go to a training in the summer called SLI, which is Summer Leadership Institute. And in the summer of 2023, I saw this at one of the sessions I went to. It was a school in South Texas, and it was about their Wellness Day. And they had surprised their teachers the day they came back from Christmas break. And so they didn't have any idea what they were doing on their professional development day, and they surprised them. And they told us about their activities and the sessions they offered. And another board member, Jay Louder, was also in there. And so when we left, we went and told Mr. Berry about this and asked him, is this something we can do in Clyde? And he thought it was a great idea, too. And I think that day he even said, let's look at April 8th. And that's the day we had our first one. And it was also the day of the eclipse.
It all worked out great. It was, totally a fun day. And our staff really appreciated it. We heard so many comments about this was so nice and invigorating and team building. The thing about it, from my side of the house, we still have to learn. And so we tried to have at least one or two sessions that were more academically minded, or you're going to learn something about technology or something like that. And so the Region Center, Region 14 came out did a session. We had someone from the drug council come out and talk about, where kids can hide drugs and in their bedroom, and things like that just educators need to know. And it was really good. And we tried to do the same thing this year. And the weather wasn't quite as nice, but they had a good time.
And we had taken a survey last year to get their feedback, and we tried to build on that and made a few changes. And there was some feedback about when it was. Some of them loved it, that it was writing testing season last year, and some of them didn't. And so we're figuring that out, I guess, of when the best time to do it is. But it was very encouraging to read their responses and know that they enjoyed it and being together.
And oftentimes you don't have time to talk to the teacher down the hall. You might, be able to conversate with those that have the same lunch as you or right next door, but definitely not across the buildings.
Right.
We only get together as a whole district twice a year, typically, maybe 3 times a year. And so we are a huge team, and it's just as important for those pre-K and kindergarten teachers to hang out and visit with the calculus teacher as it is, anything. And so we've got to all get together and enjoy ourselves and be well.
And I know that was some of the feedback I heard from staff, was that they enjoyed getting to talk to people from other campuses, but also having conversations that weren't about school. It was just, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Because it was a long weekend when we had it this year. And so just getting to talk about personal stuff, and it didn't have to be kids and grades and all of that. And so I know that they enjoy that. Yes, all the testing.
And that wasn't feedback. Don't do it on the day when our grades are due, so we'll try and do better.
Yes. Yeah, there's always something. So what do you guys feel like, and it could be last year or this year, but what was the most well-received thing? What did you guys feel like staff loved the most about Wellness Day?
I think the therapy dogs were popular both times. We only had one last year, and then this year we had the Abilene therapy dog group come. They brought a few more, and that one was popular. And then the rage room was very popular.
The rage room was a wonderful thing. Smashing glass and beating on the beat up car was a lot of fun. I know that just the whole rage room idea is really fun. We did say, please don't use my classroom. There was glass everywhere. But I think all of the sessions, I know the painting was well received. The
cookie,
sewing was new this year. Yeah.
And one of our teachers did that. And then the cookie decorating, we had a lady make heart cookies, and they got to decorate those. That was a fun one they enjoyed.
It's just, different things, and get to showcase our people, because some of our coaches did some weight and strength training in the weight room, and they enjoyed it personally, but then also got to participate. And so we really appreciated those staff members that did help man a session this year and last year. And so just, sharing what your passion is.
We ended with a tug of war between the campuses, and they really get into that.
It is. And oh my goodness, how does the elementary come
one again?
They just...
And the other campuses were fired up about that. They wanted a rematch. And
yes. Well, and I think last year, the way it worked out, a lot of the high school staff members had either taken off or were out or for something. And so, it's like, well, that makes sense. But I think pretty much everybody was there this year. So I think high school's just going to have to start working out more or something. Elementary's going to take them out.
That's awesome. So how do you guys plan to continue supporting staff wellness beyond the event?
I think part of what we need to do as administrators and employees of the district is just to check in on each other. Some days are hard, and education is a very difficult profession. I was in a training the other day that the average teacher only stays in a classroom 7 years. Wow. And the biggest thing that an administrator can provide for those teachers is emotional support. And so when I came back from that training, I told my principals, I was like, guys, it's important. We've got to spend the time with them and check in periodically. If you remember Greg Wilson, one of our high school principals, he was a longtime employee. He's actually an interim junior high principal right now. He was always so good at making sure to check in with every single teacher every day.
That's awesome.
And he said his biggest fear was coming back from the first day of school and nobody would come back. So, you want to make sure everybody's doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, some people are naturally just really good at that. I was actually bragging on you yesterday, Paula, because, and you know, it's later in the year, it's the spring, and I feel like that's when a lot of people just stop checking in. It's easy to do that at the beginning of the year because everybody's coming back and you do have a lot of new people or whatever, but you ask me every time we have a conversation, how are you doing? You know, we talk about whatever we need to talk about, but then you always ask me how it's going, how are you liking it? And so I always really appreciate that. You're really good at it.
Well, I think it's important because you want to enjoy your job. And if you don't enjoy your job, it's going to show and it's going to be harder for you to do that. And with some of the people I've worked with over the years, you know, it's just important how you personally are doing as well as you professionally.
Right. Yeah. Knowing it, it makes it easier to come to work and more enjoyable when you feel like people care about that, you know? And so
Yes.
I'm sure that people really value that. Bethany, how do you think the board views the connection between teacher wellness and student success?
Well, personally, when I was thinking about this, I thought, I've heard the quote that you can't pour out of an empty cup. And so these teachers and all the staff members, they're facing a lot in their personal lives and things we may not even know about. And then they're coming in every day and pouring into these children. And it's just such a important for us to make sure that the teachers are filled up also. And we're encouraging them so that they can enjoy being here and enjoy filling up the students with not just the things they need academically, but they also show a lot of care and love for them with all the things the children have going on in their lives too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
What do you guys think is the best thing about working in Clyde or having a kid that goes to school here?
The community support. I mean, Clyde has always been very committed to the district. I mean, look at our beautiful facilities. When we had to pass a bond, the community said, yes, let's do it. It's small town. It's a beautiful thing. My oldest daughter graduated here. My youngest will graduate this year. It's so hard. And watching Bethany's son graduate, we did 4-H together. And so you make those lifelong friendships. And it makes a difference.
The commitment of the teachers, just the ones that you know that they want to be here and they care about you as a person or as their students. Like you can just see that they're here for the right reasons, and knowing that it's not just about test scores or what grades they make. They care about them as a person and what they're doing in their lives, and having teachers that still ask about my oldest is what he's doing now, and you know that they care about him and want him to do well, and that's special.
I think because we look at the whole child. We don't just look at academics, like you said, or athletics. I mean, it's the whole person. You know, when they leave us, you know, they're going off into the world and they're going to be successful, or that's our hope, and we strive for that. And so being able to see them being successful after they leave us, we've done our job.
And I love seeing that they want each child to grow, and they take each child where they are individually and want them to grow, whatever that looks like for that child, that's a big deal, and they celebrate those successes and that looks different for every child, and that's okay.
Absolutely, and I feel like I definitely see that going from campus to campus, that they are worried about the kids and they care and they're here for the right reasons. Well, thank you, Paula and Bethany, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insights on teacher retention and wellness. It's clear that supporting our teachers is a big initiative here in Clyde, so I appreciate you two and helping just take care of our staff and their overall well-being. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share with a colleague, and leave us a review, and we'll be back next time with more conversations that matter to our educational community. Thank you for listening to the Rough Draft Podcast.
where we dive deep into the challenges facing K-12 education today.
From funding disparities and overcrowded classrooms to the growing pressure on teachers.
And the evolving need for students. We explore the real issues that shape our schools, whether it's the fight for equitable resources, the impact of standardized testing, or the struggle to meet the diverse needs of learners.
We are here to bring the conversation to the forefront.
Join us as we unpack the critical topics, share insight, and brainstorm solutions to build a better future for education.